Konbanwa.
Konnichiwa.
Good evening and hello. That is almost the extent of our Japanese, sort of. We do know quite a bit more, just not a whole lot to be able to carry on a lot of conversation, mostly small words. So, hello from Fukuoka, Japan. Hope you like our background. We'll show you some cooler pictures and videos later on, but this is our first video that we're going to post on our YouTube channel. We're doing a YouTube channel called Padgett5 Missions, and we've been here now for 2 weeks, and we're going to just kind of do a short recap of the past couple of weeks because everything was very busy. We have done a lot of videos and pictures and a lot of that stuff we're going to post a little bit each day and through the weeks because many of you want to know, what it's like in Japan. Other than the church, naturally we'll be doing stuff with the church, but we also want to be able to show you guys just everyday life here in Japan, things that you're not going to normally see or learn about. We are not professionals,
Nope.
So please try this at home because we've never done YouTube videos before. So hopefully as we go, our girls will help us probably edit some of the videos, and we'll hand it over to them and let them do some stuff too, and try to make some fun videos. We've got to figure out how to add the music and all that stuff. So, but just to kind of go over the past couple weeks, we arrived here 2 weeks ago, last night or Sunday night, and in Tokyo. And wow, what an experience Tokyo was. Personally, I would not recommend coming to Japan right now because
It was hard.
Yeah, it was quite a journey. But we had to, in order to get here, because of all the COVID stuff, Japan opened the borders to students and people with work visas, and with the religious activity visa that falls under work visa. That's how we were able to get to come over.
And that was a process all in itself.
Yes, it
over
was.
a month.
Yes, it was. And what we had to do is we had to download a app on our phones called My SOS. It's an app with the Japanese government, and we had to fill out information on that app for all 5 of us. Each one of us, except Wyatt. Wyatt's under 12, so he could be on one of our apps. But Chloe and Bailey, they had to have their own apps as well. And we had to fill out information on this app, register through this MySOS app, and then they gave us a QR code. That QR code we had to show at the airport in Oklahoma before we could even check in with United Airlines to be able to come over. So the process didn't start here. It started in the States. Early in the morning, yes. And so anyways, we had most of that done before, while we were in the States, because we had to have the QR codes. But we had 10 check-in bags, because international flights you get 2 bags each, and then we each had a carry-on plus personal items. So looked like the Brady Bunch.
15 suitcases.
Yeah, exactly. So it was a lot, but we made it. We flew to Chicago, had a couple hour layover in Chicago.
Chicago was easy.
Chicago was easy, yeah. And
Chill.
then we had a 13-hour flight from Chicago to Tokyo. That was
ended up being a really good flight.
It was, because it wasn't very full. There was very few people. I mean, this was a 787 plane, and very few people were on this plane, and so each kid had their own row of seats. We all had our own row of seats. It was really nice.
Wyatt wanted me to sit with him, so I
yeah,
didn't really get my whole row, but I could have.
Right.
There was one available.
And we met a lady, Japanese lady, who was one of the stewardess on the plane, who came over and was asking questions, because most everybody on the plane was either single or they were couples, and of course they were going over for work. So when she saw this family of 5 on the plane,
They were a bit odd.
knowing that you had work visas, she come up and asked me, are you moving to Japan? And so anyways, we got to visit with her for probably about 45 minutes, telling her what we were doing, what was going on.
Every
Very
time
nice lady.
she would come by with the drink cart, she would teach me Japanese and how to ask for whatever I was wanting in Japanese.
Yeah.
She was really cool.
And then she would bring us stuff from first class, and we were not in first class.
She taught me how to bow.
We were in the very back of the plane, yeah.
And they don't usually shake hands or hug a lot, but they bow. So.
Right. But it was fun, and it was quite a trip. So when we got to Tokyo, we had a 3-hour layover in Tokyo, and we thought, well, that'll give us plenty of time. The first part in Tokyo was pretty easy. We had to go through all the COVID protocol, which they literally had a walkway.
With arrows.
Yeah, fenced
signs.
off all the way through the airport. They had somebody at every corner to point you the right direction, and we had to go through. And we had to do a spit test, spit in these tubes, all 5 of us, so they could do rapid testing.
Lots of paperwork we had to fill out.
A lot of paperwork, yeah.
We had to turn in that we had already filled out and brought with us. And
yeah, and then we got to one point where we had to do something on our MySOS apps. And that was a challenge because most people did not speak English. There was a couple people here and there that spoke a little, and it was really difficult because of course we don't speak much Japanese. And come to find out, they required Chloe and Bailey, they have phones, but they don't have data or phone numbers.
And they're old, so while we were in Oklahoma, the apps were not working well on their phones. Like it wouldn't work on Bailey's at all, and then we couldn't get it to really work good on Chloe's. So for us to be able to get our boarding passes, which we were being a little stressed out, I think, at that point because we couldn't get our boarding passes without having them entered into the system. And they had said, well, why don't you just put them under y'all? Well, I'd seen...
That was in the States.
Yeah, that was in the States, and I'd seen where it says something about 12-year-old, but I was like, well, what if you can't? You're just going to have to put them under us. So we were able to add them under us, get our QR code to be able to get the boarding passes to begin the journey.
In Oklahoma.
But that didn't work.
Yeah, then we got to Japan, and Japanese are sticklers for rules. Very adamant about rules. So
they were saying we would have to rent devices.
Yeah, they were talking about renting devices. Of course, we couldn't rent devices. So anyways, thankfully we had our two iPads with us.
We didn't know we could use those.
And because they said on the app it says cell phones. So we were able to do their MySOS apps on the iPads.
After how long?
It took a little while. Finally got all that done. Continued on. We got our rapid test results, which was
spit in a tube.
All negative.
It was like this big, and
they wanted a lot of spit.
They did. They wanted a lot. And
you come to Japan, chew gum.
No, you can't chew gum. You can't drink.
Gum,
you can't eat. You can't take a mint. You can't chew gum. 30
kind of
minutes before you ever spit in this tube, or it won't work.
Yeah. So we finally got through all that.
One more thing. When we were actually trying to get the apps on the girls' iPads, or the iPads that we had, the free internet for the airport wouldn't work on them.
Oh, yeah.
And so they finally gave us a special
code
or special Wi-Fi that I guess is maybe the workers. It's called Global or something, and then that worked. But then when we got down to 2 checkpoints later, we couldn't pull it up again for them to be able to get the QR code because the internet was not working on it anymore. And then they were trying to put the internet that doesn't work on there. And I was trying to tell them this is a special internet. It's called Global. And then finally we're like, well, we don't have Global. So from 1 checkpoint to 2 more checkpoints, the internet that I had got just wasn't working anymore.
The look on my face was usually, huh?
So, for that QR code, Jeff actually pulled up the old QR codes from Oklahoma where we had put the girls under us.
And they accepted it.
It
It was an ordeal, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So we finally made it through all of that.
We never got to go to the bathroom.
COVID line, 3 hours.
Never got to
Never hardly sat down at all. We're constantly on the move.
Get a snack, a drink of water.
Right.
Nothing for the whole Tokyo time.
So we made it through the whole COVID stuff and finally got down to customs.
Immigration.
Immigration. because coming into Japan, you have to get all your luggage, and then from baggage claim, and then you got to check it back in, go through customs, all that stuff. So, and this is where we have a really cool testimony too about our trip. So we go through immigration. They give us these little pink slips. I went through first, and I got out to baggage claim area. Well, there was some luggage coming up on a belt, and I thought, okay, well that must be ours. It totally slipped my mind that we had just spent about hour and a half, 2 hours actually, getting to that point.
Yeah. And we were still in line getting our residence cards.
Right.
That
they were
was
getting
also
their residence
through
cards.
immigration. You were having to turn in your visas to
I
be
should show
able
my
to get
residence
your
card.
residence cards that show that you may live there for a year.
Exactly. So it looks kind of like a driver's license, except it's all in Japanese. Ours has our pictures on
and
it.
Chloe's, but
and Chloe's has pictures. The
16.
Bailey and White doesn't. So and it's an actual card. Anyways, so I go through there, and I've got my backpack. I've got Wife's backpack. Well, a lady comes up with a little Chihuahua, sniffing the bags.
I never saw any of this. I didn't know any.
Yeah, they're still getting their cards, and a guy comes up with her and says, inspect. You know, they want to inspect my bags. I said, okay. So I have to go over here to the other side. Rand and the kids, they have no idea that I'm over here. I have no idea if they're coming out yet from immigration. And she's checking my bags. And I learned that, she pulled my beef jerky out. And she goes, oh, no have. And I said, you can't have beef jerky? She goes, no meat, no niku, no meat. And I thought, okay, great. Can I eat it now? She goes, no. What she did is she went and shared it with her friends. Is probably what she did. So,
I don't know.
Which stinks because it was some really good beef jerky. So anyways, if you come to Japan, don't bring any meat. You can't have it with you.
No beef jerky.
Right, no beef jerky. So anyway, so they inspect my two backpacks and get that. We walk back over there, and about the time I walk back to where the luggage is coming out, Rand and the kids are coming through.
Yeah, when we first came out, we were looking around.
Yeah.
We didn't see him. We didn't know what was going on.
And I didn't know. Let me fix this. I hope that doesn't fall. And I'm looking for the luggage. Well, our luggage hasn't come out. Well, then my phone rings, and it's a number I don't recognize, but I'm in Japan, so I answer it, and there's a Japanese guy on the other line. He's speaking English, but he has a very heavy accent. So he's speaking, and I'm kind of understanding what he's saying. Baggage claim. I said, or he asked if Jeff Foy or Jeff Fee, Padgett, anyways. And it's like, yes, Jeff Padgett, that's me. I'm in baggage claim. Oh, baggage claim, yes. And he proceeds to try to tell me something. I can't understand him. And of course, at this point, we're pretty stressed. We're tired.
It's like
it was
3 a.m. in
for us.
stateside. We were really
and a little
tired.
frustrated. And finally, I handed the phone to Rand. I was like, "Here, see if you can understand what he's saying." Well,
I understood.
while she's on the phone with him, another man, Japanese man, comes up and walks up to me, and asks, "Padgett." I said, "Yes, Padgett." He said, "Oh, luggage."
And I'm figuring out where he's telling me where I'm supposed to be on the phone while that guy's telling
He's pointing down. Well, 4 belts down is where our luggage had come out.
Like F or something.
Something
we were
like
in
that.
C,
yeah.
So.
And of course, everybody else that was on our plane had already been come through and gone, and we're the only ones left because we had the old ordeal of going through the COVID stuff. So.
Mm-hmm. We didn't even know what time it was.
Right. And so I walked over there, and when I walked over, there's a man with his cell phone, and I walked up, and I said, "Are you the one that called me?" He goes, "Hi, yes, I call you. We have luggage." And thankfully, he, once you were talking to him directly, you could understand a lot of his English. Mm-hmm. It was broken. It wasn't a lot, but he could speak some. And they had taken all our luggage off the belt because ours was what's left. Put it on 3 roll-around carts, all nice and neat and stacked. And through the whole process, most everybody was helpful. They did their best to help us best they could. The language barrier was the main thing. And so they had all this stacked, and I'm telling him, thank you so much. And I said, where do we go now? What do we do? Because we had no idea. We couldn't read any of the signs or anything. And so he took us over to customs. And the man at customs windows, he's asking us questions. I don't know what he's saying. When we were on the plane, I had to fill out this form for customs. If you ever go outside the U.S., that's kind of normal. I've had to do that before at other places that we went to. So so I had to fill this out. Had to fill this form out, and I had it asked for my occupation. Well, I put aviation, aircraft mechanic. That's my occupation. That's what I do for a living. I didn't realize that occupation meant what are we coming over here to do, as in company wise, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So he's asking, and I said yes, and so there's some confusion right there automatically.
He thought we should be with a business that had to do with
so
aviation.
he wanted to know the company name. I'm like, well, I'm not here with a company for aviation, and so the man who could speak some English, he's talking to him too, and you could tell the custom guy's getting a little frustrated. He was a younger man, and so finally I figured out, oh, you're okay. So I told him we're here on religious activity, religious visa, missions work, missionary, and so I had to change that on there, and the English speaking.
And you had your UPCI.
Yeah, I had my UPI.
Card.
Yeah, my license, UPCI license. So I was
able
able to show that.
And he was taking notes on.
Yeah, so we finally got that filled out. Well, he motioned for us to bring our luggage around to a table over there on the right side. So we take all 15 suitcases over there to the other side, and he's motioning us to put on there. And I look at him, all of them. Hi, and I thought, oh my goodness, this is crazy. So we started putting
our little ones, our carry-on suitcases on first, because the other ones are all stacked nice and neat on those roller carts. Yeah. And they proceed to open one and go through it, and there's
not just go through it, pull clothes out.
And so there was this big stuffed animal in there, and they take it out and they're squishing it. I'm like, there's nothing hidden in a stuffed animal, and I'm thinking in my head, are they gonna do this to every suitcase, all 15 suitcases? Are they gonna take? And I'm an organizer, so like I had things in the bigger suitcases organized very strategically, and if they would have taken all of that out, I don't know what I would have done. I would have probably started
Brandon's
crying
eyes were like
right then and there, because I would have had to somehow try to figure out how to get it all back in the way it needed to be in to fit properly.
And the whole time the young man, he's still communicating to me. I don't remember what he was wanting at that point.
Oh, he was wanting our address of where we were.
Oh yeah, our address where we were going to stay.
And so we're trying to look it up. We don't know
so
it off the top of our head.
We're going to be, we're scheduled to be here 6 months. So I told him, okay. I gave him the address of where we're at right now for our quarantine.
It was.
And it's for 4 days.
Location.
And he said, okay. And he said, oh, four day. Okay. Rest.
But we didn't know.
The rest of 6 months, we weren't sure.
We didn't even have a house yet.
Yeah, at that time. It wasn't until after we got here that we found out, hey, we were going to be able to keep this place right here.
Which is a very big blessing, and it's a whole nother story, and I'm so
thankful. That'll be a whole nother video. Rand's going to do a whole walkthrough video.
God has given everything and more.
Later of it.
So thankful.
Yeah, so anyways, and I thought, I don't have an address. And this guy's adamant.
We're trying to look up the
Clevenger's
address.
Finally, I said, "Ho 6 months,"
which actually did happen.
Yeah, and which word? Okay, 6 months.
Because this is where we're going to be for the whole.
So he run. Well, anyways, we're kind of wondering, okay, how's this going to go? Because they're starting to go through. This lady's starting to go through our luggage. Well. The man who speaks English, he kind of snapped something at him. He just said something real quick. I don't know what he said.
And forth, and I was like,
and they're doing this. They're all looking at each other, and the woman nods her head.
On my face, I was getting a bit panicky, probably, because I was just like, they're gonna go through all this luggage, every single one of them. So I'm kind of like trying to be calm, but at the same time I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I don't know how this is all gonna work out, and I'm praying in my head, and it's just
So the lady's looking at the young man. The young man's looking at the older gentleman who speaks some English, who's helping us out. And she's looking back at them. She looks at the young man. He looks at the older gentleman. He says something back to him. He looks at her and nods his head. And she closes everything up, zips it up, and puts it all back. And they didn't go through another thing.
Just one
just
suitcase,
the one. Yeah.
One suitcase out of all of
technically, I think they were supposed to go through all of them. And we put it back on there. And because we were pressed for time for our connecting flight to Fukuoka.
Because everything had taken so long to get to that point.
So, so we started to walk away, and I asked the older gentleman, where are we going? What do we do? And he said, we get bus. Go Terminal 2. I don't think he said Terminal, but
that's
Terminal
called, yeah.
2. And I was like, okay, great. Where's Terminal 2? And I'm telling you what, this man was a godsend, because we would have had no idea where we were supposed to go. And we'll get to that in a minute. So anyway, so we go out, and he's taking it, and this guy's guiding us everywhere we go. He's pushing one of the carts. I'm pushing one of the carts. Rand's pushing one of the carts. He takes us out to the bus stop outside the door. He stands there. And he tells me what bus we're waiting for, that we have to go to Terminal 2.
We waited for
okay, and probably
good
10 minutes probably
for that bus.
For the bus to get there. Well, when the bus got there, he helps me load all the luggage onto the bus. We get Rand and the kids situated on the bus. Standing room only.
It's kind of like Subway.
He tells me, okay, we go to Terminal 1, but no get off. Get off Terminal 2.
Yeah, and it's going to be another 10 minutes.
Right. So, it took about 10 minutes to get from where we were at Terminal 2. So, while we're on the bus, he's with us. He's going with us the whole way. Yeah. And he tells Rand, when we get to Terminal 2, you go up, run. He said, you get off bus, run.
Fast.
Go fast.
With boarding passes and our
with all our
passports.
boarding passes. Yeah. And passport, go upstairs to
special assistance.
Special assistance, yeah.
He said, and kind of showed me to the left.
Yeah, kind of where to go. So we get to Terminal 2, and when the doors open up, Rand runs and runs, and she runs inside.
I was kind of nervous because this was my first time leaving my family in Japan, and I was like, I'm all by myself, and I didn't know what to do. And I mean, just from what he said, so I got in there and I saw an escalator, and I was like, well, I'm pretty sure that would get me to the second floor, but he had specifically said elevator.
Oh, yeah, he did, elevator.
So I was kind of afraid to take the escalator, because even though I figured it would do the same thing, but anyways, I just was following directions. So I went over to the elevator, and there wasn't a button on the wall.
Yeah, it's off to the side.
And it's like, it was like on this like podium, kind of like 2 to 3 feet, like in the middle, in front of it, and it didn't even have arrows on it. I didn't know what that button was, so I'm looking for a button. I don't know where the button is. And finally this lady, and I'm like, elevator button, up. And she pushes it for me. I was like, oh, there it is. So finally I got up there, ran to where I'm supposed to be. And then there was some ladies that were trying to communicate with me. I gave them our boarding passes, was it boarding passes? What was
passports
it? Our boarding passes for the next flight. That's what it was. And our passports, and they're going through it, and they're wondering where the luggage is. It's like, oh, it's coming. It's soon. All of it's coming.
Yeah, so he helped me get all the luggage off. We got 3 more carts, put all the luggage on the cart, and we roll in, and we have to take 2 trips on the elevator. I think he went up with, anyways, 2 trips. Actually, there was 2 elevators. That's what it was. We both took elevators. Okay. So we got all the luggage up on the second floor and got it over to special assistance. And we got in there, and he's explaining to the ladies that are helping Rand what's going on. And our flight's about to leave, our connecting flight. And so you could tell the ladies were a little nervous.
Yeah, because they still have to like weigh all of our luggage,
check everything
in, and then get it to the plane. And
so one of them comes over to me and asks if we could take a later flight. And I said, well, how long? And she said 30 minutes. I said, oh yes, absolutely. That's
Well,
fine
somebody
with
was
us.
asking me, I think, at the same time, because
Yeah.
a lady was asking me the same question.
Give us a
Later
chance to
flight.
breathe.
And I
And
was like,
they seemed so
when,
thankful.
when
Yeah,
are we going to take a later flight?
you could see her sigh. There was
I
a
was like,
sigh
are
of
we
relief
staying
there.
the night in Tokyo Airport?
No.
What's happening here?
No.
And,
So
no.
so
30 minutes later, I said,
we're like,
yes.
yeah, absolutely, that's fine. And
But
so
they were
anyway,
so
so they
thankful for that.
yeah they
It
were.
was kind of like we were doing them a favor, and we were just thankful that they were helping us.
Yeah.
But they were just
Well, I
so
think because
appreciative that we
if
would
it
take this
anybody
later
else or
flights.
Japanese would have been chewing them out
I
and not
don't
been
know.
happy and been mad, I guess, because they had to
They
get
were
another
just so
flight.
thankful.
But that the older gentleman, I mean, he was talking to him, and so he stood there.
He just stood
we
there.
were probably there for another 20, 30 minutes right there,
getting all that,
getting all the
checked in
luggage
and
taken
getting our
care of,
boarding
because they had
passes.
to change our flight, so they had to
Get us
change
new
all the
boarding
luggage stuff, get all
passes.
new boarding pass. He stood there, and he and I talked a little bit.
Most
He
times
was
just
really
stood
hard
there
to understand,
quietly
yeah.
and
And so, but we just stood there, and of course,
just
I
watched.
told him several times, thank you so much for helping
Yeah.
us. And so he stayed there all the way until the ladies got the new boarding passes on the luggage,
Yeah.
put through the handles, and started checking them in. And then he told us what gate we would have to go to.
Yeah.
And he
We had
said,
to still go through
I
security.
need to go back to office. And of course, I thanked him again for helping us, because we wouldn't have made it
Yeah.
without him. We wouldn't have. We'd have been totally lost. And
And
so
he didn't even have to stay as long as he stayed.
No, he
even
didn't.
in that
no,
that
he didn't.
place
He didn't at
that
all.
we were getting all
So
that.
so from there we were able to get to our gate, and about
Went
10
through
minutes
security,
later,
that was a breeze.
yep, boarded our
We
plane to
literally
Fukuoka.
got to our gate and stood there maybe 5 minutes.
Yeah, it
before
wasn't long
we
at all.
actually boarded
Yeah,
the flight.
and we
And
got.
then once we got on that flight, can I tell that part about
Oh.
me, about what I felt?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, so once we got on
Absolutely.
that flight and we had all got buckled in, and the seating that we had got on that flight was like the best seating, because it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it was the wall. The wall was in front of us, so we had that
It was the
extra
front
leg room.
seats with the extra leg
We
room.
didn't
Yeah.
have that in the original flight to Fukuoka. And we weren't even sitting together. You were like way up front, and I think
Yeah.
we were way in the back. But they gave us all the
Yeah, we all got
seating
together.
all together, like all three of us, and then it was you and
I
one
don't
of the girls, I can't remember, and then another lady, but on the side of our row. But anyway, so I'm
yeah.
sitting there and we're about to take off, and we're all so tired. We actually all fell asleep on that flight and didn't wake up till the wheels touched the ground in Fukuoka. We were really tired. But I remember just thanking God and praising Him, quietly to myself. And while I was thanking Him for getting us through all of that, I just had that man's image come into my head, the one that had led us and helped us. And just that small, still voice was like, that was your angel. I sent him to help you. And then once we got to Fukuoka, and Brother Clevenger had us to our apartment, which is where we're at now, and we were unloading all our luggage. He, in conversation, he said, we're so happy you're here. And he said, in prayer this morning, I saw an angel leave, and he was heading to Tokyo to lead and guide you. He didn't even know our story,
Not yet,
that
yeah.
I had felt like that was our angel.
Yeah.
And that confirmed it, that was the angel that he had saw leave to meet us in Tokyo, to lead us and guide us the
Yeah.
way. We wouldn't have made it
Nope.
without that
We had
angel.
our own personal angel in Tokyo.
It
And
was amazing.
I still don't know how that guy got my phone number to call me. And luckily we had gotten international service through AT&T, which was crazy. It was actually cheaper to get that than it would be to get cell service here.
Yeah.
And our phone number is not on the boarding on the luggage. Our names, our flight information. I don't know if he went through the airport to get the number, but I mean, how he got my number to call me while we were there in Tokyo at the baggage claim and I'm not even gonna bother to try to figure it out either. But it was awesome. We had our own personal angel in Tokyo.
Yeah.
It was so cool, because we would not have made it
No,
to
we wouldn't
Fukuoka
have.
that sunny night. without him.
Pretty amazing.
And so, yeah, it was awesome. And so we're
just
here.
thankful.
We're here. We got here. Clevenger's met us
Yes,
there at the airport and helped us get our luggage into 2 vehicles.
2 vehicles.
their van and their car.
Yeah.
And got us here to the airport, or I mean to the
To the
hotel, and
apartment.
so to the apartment. So this is a hotel, but it's
Considered hotel, kind of
yeah,
like a condo sort of.
yeah, it's called a hotel, but it's more like an apartment, really. And so we got here, and we started our quarantine. Quarantine was kind of tough because we couldn't go anywhere. We didn't
didn't
even
walk out the door.
leave our room, our apartment for
room.
2.5
The
days.
Clevengers had groceries here for us.
Yeah, and they come over to visit each day.
They would bring
And
us stuff.
that My SOS app, we would get a message through that. All of us
All
would, all
devices.
5 of us, even Wyatt on my phone would get a message asking us to let them know where we are, and we'd have to press "I'm here," which
They
showed
were
our
tracking
location.
us, literally.
And then they would also send a little message saying we're about to call you for a video chat. And what they'd do is they would call, you would answer the video,
yeah.
and you don't see anybody on their end. All you're doing is recording yourself live,
For 30
sitting here in the
seconds, you
apartment.
had to
Yeah, in 30
keep your
seconds.
face with the background.
Yeah, they had a little circle on the screen to keep
Had
your
to
face
make your
there.
face stay.
And we might get that 2 or 3 times a day. At random times, it was
5.
never
I mean,
the
there was
same.
times where I got it 5 times a
Tuesday
day.
we got it 5 times. Yeah.
Just, and you never know when.
Right.
One
It's
time
all totally random.
I was in the bathtub and I had to like jump out and get modest, and I was kind of stressed out. I was like, oh my goodness, there's a video call. So that wasn't fun.
Yeah, that would have been interesting. Go ahead and answer it and say, yeah, here you go. Teach you to call at a random time. So we had to go through that, and that was a little stressful because everybody's just stuck here and we can't do anything or go anywhere. And then Tuesday evening,
And we were tired.
we got or Wednesday morning, we got a message saying that we could go ahead and go do our COVID test. And so
For early.
for getting out of quarantine early.
Yeah.
So Sister Laura come over, picked us all up. We went and we did our COVID test, and then they had some stipulations that when we go to our COVID test, we could go somewhere if we need necessities like groceries, which you'll see in another video. The refrigerator's not very big here, and so we're like, well, yeah, we need groceries. So you could do that. You could go to the grocery store for necessities. So we went to the grocery store and we went to Starbucks. We considered that a necessity for mental wellness.
For mental health.
Because so we didn't choke each other
Then
here.
we went through the drive-thru at McDonald's, which was
Yeah.
amazing.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother video there.
McDonald's
And so
was really good here.
so we did our testing. Then we had to come back. We took the scenic route all the way around the expressway back to the apartment.
Yeah.
Mental wellness, mental
Got some
health
fresh
necessity. And I got some fresh air. And so so we got back to the apartment. We're scheduled to leave that Thursday to Okinawa for the general conference. And so we get back and we're waiting for the results to pop up on our My SOS app for our test
I realized
results.
Chloe hadn't been contacted at all that day. And so I went to go check out her app, and it was on a different screen than it had been before we went
Yeah.
to get the COVID test. We had to take all our devices to the clinic where they did the COVID test, and they were messing around on the devices.
Yeah.
Well, her device got messed up. Something her app wasn't the same anymore. So there was no button to be able to, and every day we had to check in with our health and like, do we have a fever? How are we feeling? Blah, 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 blah. Well, none of those options were available on Chloe's app anymore. So I was like, oh no, what's happening? They're not able to contact her. They're going to think we're breaching our pledge. In Japan, we had to take this pledge and sign it and all that kind of stuff.
On the app.
Yeah, it was getting a bit stressful again because we were supposed to be entering in all of our which we all were negative for our COVID test. We were having it. I had take all the information. I had to enter it into the app so that they would see it, so that they would approve it, and they would let us out of quarantine. But I couldn't do that with Chloe. I couldn't even receive her results because the app was no longer working properly. So that was a big ordeal.
Yeah, and Wednesday night we all got our negative results back, except Chloe, and then we'd have to take a screenshot of our negative result, and then post that screenshot onto another website
program that correlates with the apps.
Yeah, through the government, and then they would send us a message letting us know that our quarantine was over. Of course, everybody was negative, and so Rayanne, Wyatt, and myself, we got ours screenshot and posted before 6 p.m. So we got our notifications that our quarantine was over Wednesday night. Bailey's, we didn't get hers until right after 6 p.m. So hers came the next morning. Well, Chloe's we still didn't have.
Still couldn't enter in her negative result yet.
Right, and so Thursday morning, here we are. We're supposed to fly out 5 o'clock Thursday evening.
So I started emailing the people, the health people, whatever.
And we had Sister Laura on the phone and Sister Masako, who is she does most of the interpreting for the service, and she's calling.
And we're trying to get the results sent to me instead of to Chloe, since I couldn't receive them for Chloe, because they instructed me to totally delete her app and restart everything, reload it, everything. Well, then all the information is gone, and so if her results had even been sent, it was going to be no longer there once I did the app and all of that. So they finally were able, after it opened, to get a hold of the clinic, and the clinic actually sent me on my device Chloe's results, so then I could go ahead and try to get it entered into the new app set up on her device, and then we had to wait.
Yeah, so we had to wait.
But we had to check out.
And we had to check, oh, that's right, we had to check out from this apartment at 11 a.m.
11.
We had to be out of here. So we yet to have her results saying she could leave quarantine, yet we've got to be out.
And the reason we had to check out is because during the time we were gone to Okinawa, this apartment was rented out already to someone. So we had to move out after our 3-day quarantine. Yeah. And we took all of our luggage to Sister Clevenger's house. Well,
most of it.
Her house.
Filled up her foyer.
We were going to be taken to Okinawa, which was just
all our carry-ons, and so we checked. We went ahead and checked out. We knew everybody was negative. Because we did get Chloe's results that morning before we checked out, so we knew it was negative.
I just wasn't able to get her.
So we went ahead and checked out.
Her freedom.
And then
email.
Sister Laura took us to a park where we could just kind of stretch our legs, walk around. After we took most of our luggage to their house, and then while when we left the park, it was getting about time to go get something to eat and head to the airport. We were flying out at 5 o'clock, so I guess what was it, about 2 o'clock? We finally got the notification for Chloe saying her quarantine was over. I mean, there has been so many things getting here to Japan and getting through this quarantine. There's been so many things that has come through right at the last minute.
Divine delays.
Yes, as Bishop Sharp would call it, divine delay. And seems like anything that could be delayed had been delayed.
And we knew we needed to be at this conference.
Yes, absolutely. So, but like I said, it all worked out. God had it all, and we knew God had it all in hand. I did ask God, or I told God it would be okay if things got done a couple of days ahead of time instead of always right the last second. At least for our peace of mind, anyway.
We made it to the hotel in Okinawa. The hotel, your card wouldn't work the way they were trying to run it. And then when we checked out, they had to manually enter it in because something about the chip reader wouldn't work.
Yeah, it was crazy.
With that type of card.
But we had a great time in Okinawa. The conference was awesome. We do have some pictures and videos that we'll post of it. It was a very good conference. Really, and Okinawa was really nice. Kind of reminded us a lot of Guam. So, we really liked the weather. Bigger, it was cool. The girls, made some good friends there who they've actually still been contacting. I didn't realize that Chloe and Bailey, they've still contact Ai and a couple of the other girls.
Chicky.
Yeah, and so and of course Wyatt met some people. Wyatt got to usher or be a door greeter at the conference, and then we came back to Okinawa to Fukuoka from Okinawa last Monday.
Yes.
But the apartment was when we were in quarantine. Brother Les had went downstairs and asked, hey, what's the chances of them being able to rent this apartment for the whole time we're here? Well, it just so happened that this room, I say just so happened,
the only room,
this room or this apartment was the only apartment that was completely open from last Thursday throughout September. The only one. And which happened to be the one that we're quarantining in. And
that I absolutely
but we couldn't move in till Thursday, so when we got back from Okinawa, we stayed with the Clevengers.
We lived with the Clevengers.
Yes, which
Our
was great for them.
Pray,
keep them in your prayers, please, because they are trying to adopt. They just did their home study today, and they're looking to adopt. So I told them, hey, here's what it's like to have a big family.
Yes.
not sure if they're going to go through the adoption now.
Yeah, they will.
Yeah, they will. In fact, I'm praying they get adopted twins.
They actually said we were very good guests, so they can't lie. They're missionaries, so they're good.
Well, that's true. Yeah.
We were good guests. So.
That's true. Yeah.
We had a good time.
We finally got to move back in here this last Thursday.
No, Thursday.
Last
Thursday. My
Thursday.
days are getting mixed
and
up.
spent most of the weekend just getting unpacked, organized, so everything's good. And so we are finally settled. Ryan and the kids started back homeschool today. And so we're here. Everything has worked out. We've got to this past Sunday, Mother's Day, was our first service here in Fukuoka. Had a really good service, and I think I got a few pictures, but we'll do some videos later on of the church services as well.
We walk a lot.
Yeah, we walk a lot. That's going to be some other videos.
One of my days.
Just know that we're gonna post quite a few videos on the Padgett5 missions.
What was it, last Wednesday? I had 12,600 something steps.
Yeah, that's because we went and toured around Fukuoka. So got a bunch of videos there too. So, so sorry this one's kind of long, but we wanted to do the recap of the past 2 weeks and kind of let you know what's going on, how things are going. And
we're here.
Yep, we're here. We're ready to work. The videos that are coming, as I said before, we've never done this before. I'm not even sure how it works with you guys getting on Padgett5 missions. I don't know anything about how you subscribe or anything like that, or if you have to.
Like and subscribe. That's what I see all the YouTube video people say.
Right, yeah, I don't know anything about that.
We'll
learn.
Click it. I don't know.
We'll learn. We'll get it together and
watch our videos.
Yeah, that's it. And remember, these videos are not going to be edited. They're not going to be everybody be on their best behavior. They're just real. Because we want to give y'all the most experience we can of what Japan is like in just everyday life. So some of them may be boring. I apologize. Just fast forward, or we might fast forward through some of it for you. I have no idea. We'll see. I got to talk to my daughters on how to do this because I really don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's already been almost
43 minutes. Oh, we could stretch it out to 45. Just stand there and smile. Sit there and smile.
This isn't working.
Yeah, okay, we're not going to do that. Look, we love all of you. We miss you all, and we're happy to be here though, and we're going to have a great time.
Appreciative of every prayer. We feel them. They have paved our way here, and we ask you to continue them because they will continue to pave our way throughout this journey.
Yes, and thank you to all those who have supported and helped us get here.
Be here without your support.
I'm not even going to start naming names. We just, who you are.
Be here without it. Without being sent.
Yes, we'll stay in contact. As I said, we do have international coverage on our phones, so you can text us. We are 14 hours ahead of you. So if you text and I don't answer, it's probably because we're asleep. 14 hours ahead now. We'll be 15 hours ahead in the fall.
9 o'clock's time for bed.
Yeah.
Soon.
Pretty close. All right. So we love you guys.
Love
God bless you,
you.
and
God
we will see you
bless.
soon.